Boats and ships have been around for thousands of years, but they did not play a large role in the world affairs until the early 1600s. Previously, they had been used for traveling short distances and tended to stay mainly on rivers. The invention of large, tall ships allowed distant countries to trade much further distances, even across entire oceans.
The first major ships to be used were square-rigged ships, called clippers, such as the one pictured here. These ships were very large in size and challenging to move through the water. Along with the size of the ship, the sail setup added to the maneuvering difficulties. The sails were fixed, meaning the sails couldn't be adjusted to catch the wind and help steer the ship. Because of this, the ship could only travel when the wind was blowing in the direction it needed to go. While the ships traveled on routes that had typically very steady winds, it was still less than reliable for timely sailing. The problems with inconsistent travel meant that trade was limited to certain times of the year and only non-perishable goods could be shipped long distances. During the late 1600s and early 1700s, the clipper ships evolved to overcome their handling problems. Some of the sails went from being a square design to a triangle. These new triangular sails were adjustable and increased the ship's speed and agility in the water. This also made it so that the ships could sail in many more directions than just with the wind. The original all-square-rigged ships could only sail directly with the wind, but the triangular sails gave the ships a near 270-degree range. Obviously, this made traveling much easier and much more reliable. While weather still limited the ship's ability to travel to certain countries during some seasons, more doors for trading goods were opened. Around the same time as the newly evolved clippers, a newer ship was brought to the forefront of the trade industry. These ships were called schooners, and rather than having both square-rigged and triangular sails, these ships featured mostly triangular sails with almost a full range of movement, called gaffs and jibs. Like the later clippers, these new sails greatly improved the ship's abilities. These ships were faster than the modified clippers. They were smaller, sleeker, and had much less bulk than the older ships. The new sails provided much more surface area to collect wind. In proportion to a clipper, their sail mass was twice the size of sails needed to propel the ship. In other words, they had double the amount of necessary sail. Clippers could be compared to a large, heavy-duty truck equipped with a V8 engine, while a schooner could be compared to a sports car with the same engine. Schooners were not designed to carry a large amount of goods, but they were necessary to get certain goods to their location much faster. In the 1800s, the clippers and schooners had competition. A new ship was invented to work around the sail ship's one major flaw, the inability to travel if the wind wasn't blowing. No matter how effective the sails were, if there was no wind to propel them, the ship was useless. This new ship was a steam-powered ship. These ships were built as a combination of the clipper ship's size and bulk, but the schooner ship's sails. What really made these ships, of course, was the addition of a steam-powered engine that could power the ship without using any wind at all. Very quickly, these ships became the most important part of international trade and made the clippers and schooners obscure technology in modern trade. As technology evolved further, the steamships became all the more powerful and took over the seas. Suddenly, steam-powered ships could transport goods in a matter of days when previously it could take weeks for them to arrive. More fuels were used to power ships, from coal to modern diesel. Sailing ships became a thing of the past and lost importance in the fast-paced modern world. Most people didn't see a purpose in using out-of-date, slow transportation when far more reliable, much faster ways were available. Not all is lost for the old sailing ships, however. Many are still in commission in today's ocean, and there is a small part of the population very dedicated to maintaining these historic ships. A good number of people stay loyal to keeping the beauty and integrity of the old ships intact. While clippers and schooners have stepped aside from their role as a key component of international trade and let engine-powered ships take over, they are still a beloved tradition that will not vanish anytime soon.